All right, welcome everyone to this explainer. If you're an enterprise leader or CAP Level 4 AI architect, you are exactly in the right place. Today, we're putting on our senior consultant hats to tackle a really massive challenge. How do we scale AI safely without suffocating our teams in endless bureaucracy? We're going to break down the agile architecture of AI governance systems. Because look, as you scale, the goal isn't just to create more red tape. The goal is to build smarter, far more responsive guardrails.
So here's our agile blueprint for today. We'll start with the evolution imperative, then move into the structured review cycle, followed by incident-driven system improvement, and finally wrap up with pruning framework complexity. Let's just jump right in.
I really need you to ask yourself right off the bat, is your AI governance built for yesterday's technology? It is such a critical question. You see, governance frameworks have this almost magnetic tendency to accumulate bloat over time. You add a rule here, you add a quick check there, and before you know it, you've created this monstrous system that encourages performative compliance rather than real, substantive safety. Basically, if your framework is static, it's already obsolete.
Okay, part 1, the evolution imperative, and why we absolutely must adapt. You just can't write an AI policy, shove it in a binder, and expect it to protect your enterprise for the next 5 years. It doesn't work that way.
There are 3 constant pillars forcing us to stay on our toes. First up, technology change. The AI we have today is fundamentally different from what we had just 2 years ago. We've shifted from these narrow, task-specific models to highly generative, agentic systems that can literally take multi-step, autonomous actions. Second is organizational learning. Think about it. An organization that's deployed 26 AI systems inherently knows significantly more about context-specific risks than a company that's only deployed 4. If your governance isn't absorbing that hard-earned internal knowledge, you're just throwing away your most valuable data. And third, regulatory evolution.
And man, the regulatory landscape, it is shifting under our feet at lightning speed. Take the EU AI Act, agreed upon in 2024, phasing in through 2025, and fully active by 2026, alongside a massive global explosion of local and sector-specific laws. What that means is yesterday's perfectly compliant deployment might literally become tomorrow's massive liability. Your framework has to track the delta of change, not just sit on a current baseline.
The reality is exactly this. A governance framework built for a world of narrow, task-specific AI models is simply not adequate for a world of generative, multi-capable AI systems. Clinging to outdated frameworks leaves you entirely blind to emerging threats. When foundation models get used for things even their own developers didn't anticipate, or when totally new threats like deepfakes and autonomous agentic errors pop up, a static framework won't do a thing to protect you. You need a system that breathes.
Moving right along to Section 2, the structured review cycle. This is where we actually build the engine. To fix those blind spots we just talked about, you need an engine that seamlessly combines your top-down strategic oversight with ground-level operational truths.
So we break this engine down into 2 main types of reviews. First, you have your scheduled reviews. That's your annual deep dive to check if the framework is still strategically fit, plus maybe a quarterly check-in to catch operational gaps. But scheduled reviews are really just the baseline. You absolutely need triggered reviews too. AI doesn't patiently wait for your annual meeting to suddenly reveal a bias pattern or a glaring security flaw. If there's an incident that causes harm, or you launch a brand new deployment in a high-risk category, or even if you just switch your primary AI vendor, that should automatically trigger a governance review right then and there.
But here is the absolute secret weapon of the review cycle: continuous input. The people closest to the models, the folks actually deploying them and dealing with end users, they have the absolute earliest visibility into what's actually happening on the ground. An architect named Nikolaos actually built this brilliant continuous input survey for system owners and compliance teams. It just asks 3 dead simple questions: what's working well, what's creating friction, and what risks are currently unaddressed. That simple upward flow of information generated way more actionable governance ideas than any massive top-down strategic review ever could.
And get this, that highly structured continuous feedback survey, it takes exactly 8 minutes to complete. Just 8 minutes. Seriously, you probably spend more time than that just trying to find the right Zoom link for your morning stand-up. It's living proof that great governance doesn't have to be some bureaucratic nightmare. It just requires asking the right questions to the right people on a regular cadence.
All right, Section 3, Incident-Driven System Improvement, or how we actually learn from failure. We really have to face how we handle things when they inevitably go wrong. Every single AI incident, whether it's a harmful output, a weird bias pattern, or a missed regulatory box,
is a blaring alarm bell telling you your governance is currently insufficient.
When an incident happens, your review process has to hit 4 specific steps. The first 3 are pretty standard industry practice. What happened, what controls were in place, and why did they fail? But step 4 is where the actual governance magic happens. What specific framework change are we making to reduce the probability of this happening again? If your incident review just describes what went wrong without answering that 4th step, creating a specific, tangible change, then it's just a learning exercise that completely fails to actually improve the system.
To actually enforce this, I highly recommend borrowing a brilliant rule pioneered by Nikolaos. Within 30 days of resolving a Priority 1 incident, the governance team must explicitly document the exact framework change they made in response. 30 days. It is a hard, non-negotiable deadline. You get 30 days to fix the system itself, not just put a Band-Aid on the bug.
And that single 30-day mandate, it drove 14 specific governance improvements in just 2 years. Just think about the compounding value of that for a second. Every single one of those 14 improvements traces directly back to a real-world failure that their framework now explicitly prevents. The system literally gets smarter and safer every single time it stumbles.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 4, Pruning Framework Complexity. Doing less, but doing it way better. Governance, naturally and somewhat dangerously, wants to accumulate complexity. Every new incident spawns a new policy, and every new law spawns a new process.
And over time, the framework gets so dense and elaborate that practitioners literally cannot navigate it. So what happens? They inevitably resort to checkbox behavior. They comply purely to satisfy the elaborate requirements without possessing any genuine understanding of the underlying risk they're supposed to be mitigating. This kind of behavior renders your policies completely performative. Sure, they check the box to get management off their backs, but the actual risk? It's still sitting there, totally unmitigated.
So continuous improvement means you must actively and ruthlessly prune your framework. You need to evaluate every single requirement by asking 2 very simple questions. Is this catching a real risk? And is there genuine understanding behind the compliance process? If a requirement fails either of those tests, you've got to redesign it or just rip it out entirely. I absolutely love this concept, so please remember this. Simplicity is not the enemy of rigor. It is actually a precondition for it, because a framework that your practitioners cannot understand cannot govern anything at all. Simplicity isn't about lowering your standards. If your rules are clear, concise, and logically tied to real-world risks, your teams are actually going to follow them with true intent.
So as you scale AI across your enterprise, and you step fully into your roles as architects, I really want you to look closely at your own systems. Are you governing real risks, or are you just performing compliance? Are you building a truly agile architecture that learns from its environment, or are you just piling on rules until the whole system collapses under its own weight? The choice you make right now dictates whether AI becomes your greatest advantage or a completely unmanageable liability. Take a hard look at your framework this week and start pruning.